Hey YouTube, it's jurracmaster, and this is my updated Megabug deck. This build is still focused around the Hive Queen. I think the Hive Queen's really good in Megabugs. I'm going to get into the list right now, and then I'll talk about it after the video. There will be a list in the description, as well as any links I find relevant. So, the Megabugs are 3 Hive Queen, 3 Homunculon, 3 Steamtank, 3 Manatick, 3 Manapod Beetle, 3 Ambush Scorpion, and then that's the end of the Megabugs. And the support creatures are 3 Keeper of Laws and 3 Fullmetal Lemon. The mana ramp section is 3 Mana Storm and 3 Reap and Sow. The shield blasts are Root Trap, Terror Pit, Bone Blades, and Stormspark. And then there are 3 Shatters. So really this deck is focused on spamming creatures for the first few turns. Manatick is like the ideal turn 3. That or kind of Fullmetal Lemon. Lemon is really mana fixing for things like Homunculon and Keeper, so that those can come out without me having to see like a Stormspark Blast and a green card go into my mana zone. It's really the mana fixing, and then the rush match, I like to put those out, but otherwise they're really just there. I might to be played in place of Manatick on turn 3. It's just good to have a blocker, and Fullmetal Lemon works really well because he goes to mana. But after that, you're going to want to be playing your mana ramp once you've got a few creatures on board. This all depends on the matchups too. Like if you're facing Rush, you might skip the mana ramp and go straight to just playing creatures on turn, stopping at 6 mana, and then charging stuff over time. Probably not even playing Skull Shatters because Rush tends to take care of its own hand, and if it's not, then you have Skull Shatter as an option. The reason the mana ramp is so nice is on turn 5 or 6, you could be up to, I think on turn 6 mostly, is when you would be up to like 8 mana, so you've got that Shatter early in the control match. You've got, like, the Hive Queen can be dropped off of an Ambush Scorpion or a Manapod Beetle. Same turn you play that. Those are really scary things to do. Your opponent has to see it coming and have answers for it waiting the next turn. They can't just remove like your Manatick that's floating on the board and expect you not to play a Hive Queen because you're at 8 mana. It's still a threat no matter what. And it's really nice to have that mana ramp in this. I was playing Sprout over Reap and Sow, but Reap and Sow has proven to be better in the long run because later game, it's nice to be able to play it to get 1 more mana, but also to see the top 2 cards and pick which one I want. Especially if your opponent isn't playing into your Keeper of Laws, you're going to be running low on cards. The only card that keeps your hand alive in this deck other than Keeper of Laws is Manatick, and that's not always going to, well, without Reap and Sow being in there. And that's not always going to help. So Reap and Sow helps keep your hand alive, it helps get you higher in mana, and it's really useful. The Darkness section is also really nice, other than just the Shatter and the control match, because it gives you 6 more shield blasts that you wouldn't have had when you would have otherwise, if you were just playing Nature Light, you would have only had 6 to start with, so you've effectively doubled your shield blasts by playing Darkness in here. And that's really nice in the rush match when they're coming at your shields, and it's really nice in the control match because you have more spells that kill things. So like Andromeda, you have answers to that other than just like Root Trap or hoping that things don't go wrong and you just have enough creatures to throw at them. so it gives you more options against Andromeda. Keeper is really good in the control match as well. The control match, it's really nice to play Manapod or Fullmetal Lemon than Keeper of Laws, obviously. Homonculon does work, kills Lyras. Another thing is this deck, my build, doesn't have any Lyras in it. I feel like Lyra would take up too much space in the deck, that the Hive Queen would be less effective, so I opted to go the Mana Ramp and Skull Shatter route. It gives me more options against more matchups, whereas Lyra, being good, doesn't make up for the fact that it's not going to kill Andromedas, it's not going to kill a Tritonus. It really just shuts down their options a little bit for one turn, and it's not going to help as much overall. So I feel like that's made up for in the Homunculons, having that tap down ability just to quickly kill something. You've got the Steam Tanks, those help power things up and kill, and this deck is really supposed to swarm the field, supposed to maintain field presence the whole game, and be dropping things repeatedly on the same turn. So I felt like having the extra spells that give me more options and more defense in my shields would be a better thing than slowing the deck down a bit to play Lyras, just to get that extra double breaker body that's not going to kill as much. So I opted for Terror Pits and the whole darkness section. This deck ended up being 45 cards instead of 40. I just couldn't get around that. I'm sure I could cut a few things here and there, but overall I'm liking the way that this is playing. It's been working out really well for me. I want to test this. I'm going to LJ's Sports Cards tomorrow. I'll be playing there in the dual day, but not with this deck. I'll see if I can get some games in on the side playing this Megabug deck. I just don't think I'm ready to play Megabugs at a dual day yet, since I've only been to one so far, and I want to keep doing well at them, and I haven't gotten any experience with Megabugs, so I'm going to keep playing Water Darkness Light. But don't get me wrong, Megabugs is actually looking pretty good. I would like to trim the deck down a little bit so that I can see Mana Storms and Skull Shatters a little more frequently, or I can get the cards I want more frequently, but I haven't had a problem not getting creatures that work with Hive Queen when I attack. Steamtank I play surprisingly often from my hand and not off of Hive Queen. It's good early game mana, and that way if I see one later I can play it. And I also, seeing 4 deep with Manapod pretty much always gets me a Megabug. And the cool thing about how fast this deck puts cards on the bottom is you're basically reordering your deck. By mid-game, you've pretty much gone through the entire deck and put it in the order you want, so you're drawing the cards that you want in the right order, and it's actually working really well for you if you plan it out well enough. I find that really cool because you've got Hive Queens going crazy, Manapod going crazy, so you're putting I think you've ordered about 10 cards on the bottom of your deck by the time your deck is at about 15 cards. So it gets really crazy like that. You can do a lot of cool things with this deck. I'm having fun with it. I saw Earth Power's build right before I decided to make this video. I just finished up this build, and they're fairly similar. His just has Swordhorned and Lyras, which I wanted to play. He's also got a few other things that are a little different in place of my darkness section, and his is 40 cards, which I like. The only real differences are I cut a few things to make room for the darkness section, and mine's a few cards bigger. But the differences between our decks are, I think, really just playstyle oriented. As I said, I opted out of Lyras. Swordhorns I would have played but couldn't make room as much, and I feel like the 5,500 power is a little insignificant in this deck, the way I have it built, because I've got a few more kill spells. I mana ramp up to Shatters, so I'm not going to have to deal with as many things by attacking them. And the power boost from Homunculon or Steamtank really just makes the creatures strong enough to deal with things on their own anyway. I feel like 5,500 base power isn't worth it unless it's a Megabug in this deck. I really wanted to play the card, but just space didn't allow it. I'll try to remember to leave a link to Earth Power's build in the description. I really like his build. It's really streamlined, it's really good. It just doesn't have the darkness section, and I've found the darkness section to be really good. So Earth Power, if you see this, you might want to check out a few of the changes I have compared to your deck, and see how you like the darkness section if you want to give that a try. Just a note on Skull Shatter, I wouldn't cut it to 2 because I like seeing it frequently enough. Like, that's what I was saying earlier. The games I see Mana Storm and don't have Skull Shatter can be kind of disappointing, but a lot of times I will get Mana Storm and Skull Shatter, so it works out pretty well. The turn 6 Shatter against really anything but Rush is really scary. You hit a lot of threats, they're just not having a good day. So, thanks for watching, guys. I think I've covered most of the choices and tech I have in here for most of the matchups. I think this deck actually has a better matchup against Greed than I would have expected, just because if I have a lot of little creatures in my hand, I can decide to charge them and then turn 6 Shatter, and that works pretty effectively. After you've shattered, their Herald isn't a big deal, so you can start playing things like Steamtank, Homunculon, and then by the time you've shattered, you're at 8 mana, so you could just go Manapod Beetle Hive Queen or Ambush Hive Queen. And that actually works really well in the Greed matchup too, so I feel like this deck has good ways to deal with Greed. And even if they cheat out a dragon, unless it's Infernus the Awakened, the Immolator, then you can always just kill it with one of these and not lose any shields. If it's the Immolator, you lose some shields. That's the big downside to facing the Immolator with this deck, but I don't think even them cheating out dragons should be much of a big deal. You've got 3 Bone Blades to deal with the Firebirds earlier on, since you're not playing your smaller creatures in fear of Herald of Infernus, and this deck has actually pretty good matchups in my opinion. I don't think it's going to be like a top deck, but I think Megabugs and like this exact build and similar builds like Earth Powers even, I feel like they're gonna actually be pretty good. It's just my one tip to Megabug players is try to have some form of darkness section, even if it is just a 3 Terror Pit splash if you can afford it, because by the time you're at 7 mana, one of the pits should be in your mana. And if it's in shields, that's great. If it's in your hand, then you get to blow something up with it. The darkness section really just has been working out great for me. That's about it. Thanks for watching, guys. Special shoutouts to Earth Power, I guess, for also being interested in Megabugs here. It's a really fun deck. I hope some of you guys will give it a shot. And hopefully I'll have some games with this on my channel in a few days after I play it tomorrow in some friendly matches, hopefully. If not, stay tuned. I should have some regular videos up, like just matches with me and my Water Dark Light control. So, thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Leave your thoughts and opinions in the comments below, and I'll see you later. Have a nice day, guys.